Is it possible to think about not just the trophies you won in incredible 11 years at Manchester City, but the transition of the club from what it was to what it's become?
Yeah, more so. I mean, I could have ended up at another club, and out of 4 league titles, you would have turned it into maybe 8, depending on which club you go to and how successful it is if you go into like an established institution, you know. But going through the transition with City and missing out on all these titles in the beginning years, but going through so much basically hardship as well in terms of expectations fail, but just still carrying on. And then at the end of it, looking back on what you've done, it's actually been better to do it this way. For me personally, for the affection I can then have towards the place. And you know I played a role I was part of the people that helped to shape the culture of the club and probably the future of the club, and that means a lot. There's not many clubs where you can do something like this. Yeah, it was a special journey.
In many ways though, for you, lots of things changed at Manchester City, but what were the constants? What didn't change? I kind of became like, I was a monk by the end of it, right? So all these core values that I had before I was a monk, so when I just signed, I kind of transported them through the years. And by the end of it, I still think there's a strong identity of Manchester that remained through someone that actually never came from Manchester. And that's because I thought, look, not everything was bad when I arrived. We had to change players and a lot of things to become a winning team. But it was a great club with a fantastic history. And I think that's the thing I try to, especially even more towards the end, just keep sharing that. Someone gets a knock on the pitch, just get up, get on with it. You're in Manchester, you know, and it doesn't matter whether you're a beautiful £100 million player, because you're in Manchester, you're going to get up and get on with it, or you go and get treatment because you know you can't be 1 minute on the floor and then the other minute running on the pitch. You know, it's two things that are not compatible, and that's the side of Manchester that I just kept throughout, and I think the group was a little bit shaped as well in that way because of people like myself, and I wasn't alone in this, of course. You know, there were a few of us that were still cherishing this. I mean, that was probably drummed into you even more because you married a Manc as well. Yeah. And in yours, you have a Manc children, not just a Manc, but a Blue as well. So you had the club's ethos drummed into you at work and at home.
Yeah, I mean, Carla and her family are massive Blues, and there's the off Red, who still gets in at Christmas. But you know, the key thing is, for some reason, I ended up being in a place where it was always meant to mean a lot more for me and the people around me than anywhere else. And God knows why. Then at that time as well, the owners came in, and there were such owners that give you time to build, and you know, just were the perfectly right type of owners for the club as well to actually, you know, so many guys come in and say we're going to put money, we're going to be successful, never achieve it. And that ownership group came in and said, you know, we're going to build a plan, a vision, and 10 years later, can anyone doubt that there was a plan and a vision behind what we set out to do? So for all these things again to come together when I joined City, who was on a completely different path at the beginning, it doesn't make sense sometimes. It's a lot of things that came together that made it possible for me to have a fantastic career. And then you finish off with the Leicester moment, and you understand why I'm so grateful, and just nothing I experienced in those years I would change for anything.